Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's trailer analysis video. So last night there was the Video Game Awards or some other show, I don't know exactly, I don't follow that stuff. But what's important is that Mass Effect Andromeda had its first gameplay reveal. Now I don't usually do campaign trailers as part of my trailer analysis series because I don't want to spoil stuff myself, but I had to watch the trailer because it was gameplay and that was the key thing. And to be honest, there's not that many spoilers. If you try to avoid reading the descriptions, which obviously I didn't do very well, but there's not that many spoilers in there anyway, so I can safely say you can watch this trailer and follow me through this trailer analysis, and there's not that many campaign spoilers at all. It's mostly gameplay. So the first half of the video is looking at scenery and stuff like that, so it's not massively interesting, nothing nothing too revealing. The second half of the trailer, where they start showing off combat and stuff, there is so much to talk about. Like literally every time I watch this trailer back, there's something new that I'm spotting. So by the end of the video, I probably would have spotted half a dozen other things as well. And then by the time I've left, you guys might have spotted some other stuff that I've missed out. So as per usual, let me know in the comment section below if I have missed anything, just so we're all sharing, so we all know what's going on. But as I said, second half of the trailer, very meaty, so video is going to be quite long, but as per usual, I'll probably split it into two parts. Well, I mean, you've seen how long I can talk for a short 2-minute trailer. This is nearly 5 minutes, so yeah, strap yourselves in. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so as I said, just showing off some of the galaxy that we're exploring. Nothing amazing so far. First look at two characters. I don't want to talk about them too much because it is story related, and I don't know how much you've been keeping your head in the sand regarding the campaign, but let's just say these guys might be more than just colleagues, shall we say?
Yeah. No way this is home.
So, I mean, it's quite a nice scenery. It's kind of bluey haze. These plants kind of reminds me of the ocean, to be honest. A little bit reminds me a lot of the ocean. This weird rock thing in the center with the anti-gravity, that kind of relates a little bit to the campaign reveal that we saw a couple of weeks ago, but it might be nothing.
Brand new epic sci-fi.
Okay, so it looked like a scene from Destiny, if I'm quite honest. The whole gate and the rock thing, but as you can see in the background, there looks like a pretty big building structure, so it could be civilization over there, and out here is sort of like the wasteland. It looks like it could be. At the bottom you've got, like, I suppose a mini outpost. It's been confirmed that you can sort of build drone outposts, and I did pick that up in one of the other trailers as well, so maybe this is one of ours, maybe it's someone else's, who knows.
Adventure set in a vast explorable galaxy.
Okay, so lava planet, lightning planet. We've already seen this featured in the other trailer. And again, this one as well. So if I just, actually this one has a little bit more information than the others. So if I just take it back a sec. So you've got the settlement there. Possibly built it yourself. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I wouldn't have thought so though, given the location. It's a bit, it's not like a rocky outcrop by itself. It's got a bridge to get into it. I believe that is the landing ship. So you transfer from the main ship in space onto the ground using this traversal. You don't land the big ship itself. But then again, the big ship was featured in the other trailer, so curious to know why that's there now.
Part explorer, part soldier.
That's a really nice looking planet, this. Purple leaves, you got the nice background of the big planet. It looks a bit like Jupiter. Could be Jupiter, for all we know. No, it's not Jupiter. And then again, we've seen this planet as well. So this definitely looks like a bit of a weird building. I wouldn't have thought you'd have built that yourself. And then you've got these, again, I don't know if those are balloons or if those are like the floaty rock things that we saw earlier. So maybe they're a source of power or something, because there's cables hooked up to it and all sorts. And then there's a massive antenna as well. So radio station, communications hub, who knows. But in the background, if you look there, that looks like the structure that we talked about earlier. That civilization thing. So, but it looks a bit smaller now, so we're possibly either further away or on a different side of it. So this planet's quite big then. Well, I mean, obviously the planet's quite big, but what I'm getting at is that the exploration factor is quite extensive. It's the same planet, but I mean, we're clearly on different sides of this structure, if it's the same structure. Or maybe it's the same structure but on a different planet. Interesting.
Your mission to find a new home for humanity.
Okay, so this is the looking at a solar system screen, obviously. As you can see at the top there, it says Goruk Cam. I'm terrible with pronouncing words and names and stuff like that. Progression 0%. So a return to showing you basically, well, I guess not a return. That's just how they've always done it. But shows you how much of the solar system you've explored. So in this case, they've explored 0% of this environment. Now the central bit, it does say M for hunting the Archon. Now, I'm assuming that's just the name of the mission. Not too sure what M4 stands for. It could just be a placeholder. Could be like a chapter subheading, which they've not put in properly, because the M4 doesn't, well, unless they mean like the weapon M4, but then that doesn't make any sense. The planet's obviously called Kadara. Not too sure what the star represents on the planet itself. It could be the mission type. So if it's an assassination mission, then you have the star. If it's something else, then you have whatever symbols they've got. Captured on PS4, I do believe. As you can see, so you've got X to show UI, user interface. You got triangle to leave the view, and then you've got system view, which I believe zooms further out. So obviously they're in the Andromeda system, and so each system is built up of a different solar system. And so this is one solar system, and obviously you've got other solar systems. Again, this is nothing new. If you've played the previous games, it's fairly standard stuff. So you can just zoom out and see other solar systems, and then zoom in and then look at individual solar systems again, similar to this one. And then activate scanner on the far right. There's a bit we're going to talk about later on regarding mining and stuff like that, but I'm assuming this is like a quick scan, so it tells you if there's minerals, maybe if there's a mission, maybe if there's civilization, possibly. I don't know. I don't know how detailed this initial scan is going to be, but I know that you have to go onto the ground to do other stuff.
But in Andromeda, resources are scarce, worlds are hazardous or outright uninhabitable. Every planet has its...
That's a nice little scene there. I think it's a black hole in the background. I mean, it just shows you how big the universe is, right? The scope of this. I mean, obviously it's just a game, but in real life there are black holes and stuff like that, just ridiculously big, and you can't even fathom, the comparison between us and it. It's just ridiculous.
Every planet has its own story. On this one, warring outlaw factions fight over every available scrap. You can make new allies. Okay, so obviously, ship, Tempest. This one's actually fully landing on the planet, and if we carry on watching a little bit. Choice is yours.
Not too shabby for folk who got kicked off the...
Okay, so I'm just gonna let him finish talking, and then I'll bring it back.
Got kicked off the station with nothing to show for it.
Okay, so this is obviously where they've just landed. I'm getting sort of like a asteroid vibe, rocky vibe. Kind of reminds me of what's that place? Is it Omega from Mass Effect 2? Something like that. And in fact, there is something I want to mention, and we'll come to that in a minute. But as you can see, Krogan on the left, Turian in the middle, and then obviously human on the right.
Got kicked off the station with...
Now, interesting. He says kicked off the station. So, what station are we referring to? And this is quite a built-up area, so they're not like... I mean, I don't know exactly what the situation is, but you've got, I don't know, central hub here. You've got a big tall building in the background, as you can see. It looks like this person has their own insignia, possibly, unless it's just fancy decorations. I don't know.
All I see is the trail of bodies they left behind.
Okay, so this is I mean, nothing strange. The only thing that caught my eye was the Krogan on the left. It's got all these bones tied to him, sort of thing, as a decoration. So a little bit primal. Don't know if that's something to read into or not.
They left behind. Sam, tell me about Sloane Kelly.
Before joining the initiative as head of Nexus Security, Miss Kelly served in the Alliance with a nearly spotless record.
Okay, so there's a couple of things to note before we continue. So again, there's that star. So possibly that's where the assassination mission is meant to take place. Now, these are also Krogan. Now, when I was watching this the first time round, I did notice something strange. And if I just let it play from the start. Okay, before we move on to that bit. She's talking to some guy called Sam. Sam sounds a bit robotic. Could be the new version of Edie. So, artificial intelligence for the ship, possibly. So, they've changed it from a female to a bloke. I wonder if you can change it back. I mean, I guess it's not a big deal. I'm just I'm just curious to know.
Initiative as head of Nexus Security. Miss Kelly served in the
Alright, did you notice that
Alliance
with the
Spotless
Krogan?
record.
And then did you notice the one here as well? So pay attention to both these Krogans. So the one on the left, and then later on the one on the right. Just pay attention to them both.
Miss Kelly served in the Alliance with a nearly spotless record.
What are they doing? They seem to be kneeling or bowing or something. But they're guards. They look like guards. They're in uniform. They're carrying weapons. So why are they kneeling or bowing? Or are they doing a security search? But then she wasn't even stopped. So not much of a security search, you know. Can't really tell what's going on here. It looks like possibly a new faction. But on the whole, I haven't seen too many aliens that look really different from the aliens that feature in our galaxy. Sorry. So I don't know. The story at the moment seems a bit thin, but I guess the gameplay looks good. So you know, I'm not too fussed about that. I kind of want there to be a decent story, but I guess fundamentally, as long as the gameplay's fun and everything, then we'll wait and see.
She was involved in multiple altercations with other officers.
A hothead. Great.
Okay, so earlier we saw another Turian. Here we got humans, this new species. This guy's using an Omni tool, as you can see. It looks like shops and stuff return. No surprise there, so you can probably buy stuff. I mean, they did mention that in the start of the trailer. There's 2 E's at the top of the screen there. I believe those represent stores. So there's no radar at the moment that I've spotted. But there is this compass thing on the top, and you sort of just follow the direction that it leads you to. Would have liked both. Probably would have preferred the radar option, to be honest, especially where combat's concerned, and talk about that more as we get to it.
What brings a Pathfinder?
So, Krogans again, M8 Avenger. Again, if this is an alien world, these look pretty standard to me. I'm not really seeing anything different.
Humble port.
Venturev. Name ring any bells?
What's he to you?
Okay, I don't know who this woman is. British accent, obviously. And as soon as the scene plays itself out, and I'll let it roll in a second, it just reminds me of Arya straight away from Mass Effect 2. Again, from Omega. And that's the vibe I'm getting from the whole station, planet, whatever it is. So, not very original. Just saying.
And don't lie to me.
Just point me to where you're holding him and there won't be any trouble.
There won't be.
Kind effects return, but if you have a look here, there's an option to disarm. So is this like Renegade, Paragon sort of action? So you can either allow it and let him point the gun at you, or you can disarm him and then maybe shoot your way out of trouble. Don't know how that's going to go down.
Drop it now. You first.
Get out, or I'll put you down.
These worlds are big, so for the sake.
Alright, so we've transitioned to the vehicle. This is the Mako 2.0 or whatever the hell it's called now. Left hand side, L2. Not too sure what this means. It could be a shield or it could be a repair feature. I'm not too sure. Couldn't quite figure out what that was throughout the entire trailer. On the right hand side, however, obviously as you can see, square represents a boost forward. X represents a jump, and obviously you got speed, shield, and health there, which is nothing special. On the top left, current zone strength out of zone. Talk a bit more about that in a minute. Toggle mining computer. So as you can see, you have to land on a planet, and then you have to be in this vehicle or on foot, as you'll see later on, to mine resources. It's more of a return to Mass Effect 1. 2 and 3, they sort of did different things. 2, you did it from space via your spaceship, and 3. Well, you also did from your spaceship, but it was a much more simpler way of collecting resources. And then in the background, again, that structure. So I believe we're on the planet that we were looking at earlier, the one where I was talking about the structure, obviously. And now we're going out into the world to explore things.
There are many paths to follow on this planet.
So again, you got minor structures, a bit more greenery, a bit more desert.
And you'll need everything at your disposal to survive.
Okay, so if you look at the top left-hand side there, it's hard to make out, but I believe that word says depleted. So this initial area right next to wherever you've started out from has been fully mined. I believe that's what it represents, and I will again show you that on a different screen. Not too sure what that white flame thing is. If it's in flame, it could be a mineral. There you are. Depleted.
Which
Can you read
protects
it?
you from hazards and
Depleted.
enemies, or the scanning and analysis tools to help you interpret.
Okay, so again, first thing I noticed was the star, and the star represents, I believe, the mission that we were talking about earlier. So we're tracking down somebody, as you can see. Quite a funky scanning screen that we've got going on here. I can imagine you can watch a few decent films on that. So you've got footsteps, as you can see. I guess that indicates organic life form, possibly living behind, because if you're wearing shoes or whatever, boots, I don't think you'd see that. At the bottom of the screen, I noticed these three. I don't know what they are. There's a counter next to them, so I don't know. They look like factions to me. Obviously, that is it's our faction. That's our faction, and then you've got JEC. I don't know what that is, and then this kind of weird, I don't know, triangle shaped speaker thing. So it looks like three different factions. Okay, so obviously you find stuff and then you press X to scan. So it's not just a case of bringing up the screen and then it'll find everything for you. So if I just take it back quickly, so you've got blood splatter, multiple DNA sources detected, 100% Krogan, 100% Angara. So Angara must be a new type of race. Well, most of the blood belongs to the victim. There are traces of Angaran DNA, possibly from the knife slipping while prying open the Krogan's frontal plate. Nice. Yeah, so if crime dramas like CSI have shown me anything, is that when you're wielding a knife and apparently attacking someone, it's quite easy to cut yourself, and that's how a lot of people get incriminated.
Look for anything that might lead us to the killer.
The tracks make it look like an ambush.
Fits the Rokar profile. It's a start.
Okay, he mentions Rokar there. Rokar must be a faction then, because Angaran is a species. This Krogan, I think he was wearing a blue uniform just like the ones featured on the station earlier, so it stands to reason we're on the same planet, or wherever the hell we were at the time. Not too sure why he was attacked, and if he was a guard, then why are his colleagues not investigating this a bit more further? And in the background, you've got just generic stuff that they've used to fill the scene. Again, it looks like Mass Effect kind of stuff, nothing stands out especially. I'm not too sure what the hell's going on with the plant just sitting on a platform by itself, and then you got tea and fork in the background and the plant. And anyway, we'll move on.
Angaran blood matches your Rokar theory, Reyes.
Keep scanning.
Okay, so I tried to read this little section here, but it's really hard to make out the bottom paragraph. But basically, obviously, dead Krogan, no surprise there, no vital signs, obviously. Analysis, cause of death, blast, something, the victim's attacker, something, his frontal plate. So, given what we read earlier, I'm guessing he was shot and then mutilated. That's what I'm getting from this description.
Matches your Rokar theory, Reyes.
Keep scanning.
In fact, something to the head. After that, attacker forcibly removed his frontal plate. So again, sounds a bit primal. Could be related to the Krogan that we saw at the start, the one that I said had the bones tied to him or whatever tied to his suit.
Reyes.
Keep scanning. We need hard evidence.
In a dangerous alien galaxy desperate for resources.
This is, I think, a bit further on from where we first left that tunnel in the vehicle for the first time. In the background is that structure again. I'm starting to think if these are just placed everywhere, because if that's a central landmark, then we've gone basically to the other side of it, from what I can tell. But anyway, top left corner, current and zone strength, rich. Now I mentioned earlier about the minerals. I believe this indicates that the area is rich for minerals, and we will see a scene later on which indicates that it could be. And again, toggle mining computer, so once you found said minerals, you need to then, mine said minerals. And on the top you can see red dots. Red dots generally mean enemies, and they are enemies, and we'll fight them later on. Not too sure the white and the oh, okay, yes, so the one on the left, don't know what that is. The one on the right looks like a vehicle, and this is interesting because in a later scene, if I just let it play on, that looks like a vehicle that we can drive. So maybe that's what that white symbol is, and then there's another vehicle further on which is more similar to what we got at the moment, possibly. Unless, actually, is that white symbol the spaceship? Could be.
Is inevitable.
Hold on. Let's just take it. Alright, so this is... We're basically getting to the meaty part of the trailer now. So this is where we all need to pay attention. Really not too sure what that white symbol is. It looks like a tower of some sort, but